is the final countdown. Hey guys. I'll get started on the stream in a second. I'm just gonna let the stream warm up a bit. You gotta let it warm up. I'm gonna go get some coffee, and then we'll get started real soon. Give me like 3 minutes. I don't know if you guys heard that, but man, I swear I can speak English. I can. I just, for some reason, lack the ability. Hello, Talia Dangerbuff, aka my sister. Alright. I'm just gonna, pardon the noises. There. I don't know if that'll do anything. Just made it significantly darker in here. Okay. Yep, hold up. Okay, here we go. Here we go for sure. Just had to get my coffee. Had to put the cardboard in the window. Hopefully that might muffle some of the outside. Okay. Outside noises. So I won't sound so echoey. But then again, this room is an echo chamber. Because my mom is obsessed with wood floors. Alright. As the title and the thumbnail has suggested, these are the final 3 character references that I will be allowing myself to draw. There are other characters that may need designs, but I don't have anything written for them in the Dreamwalker story yet, so I will be messing with that later. But for now, let's get this show on the road. I need to put them in their clothes, and then we'll line, color, we'll crumb coat, freeze it, final coat, and then we'll get to frosting. I'm such an idiot. Alright, last 3. I think I'll start with Lolita, since she'll be not the easiest, but she is a school teacher, so that means she'll have a more modest design. But I don't want her to look like a copy of Sasha or Steven. So I think I'll just do like a, not a scarf. What do teachers wear anymore? It's been so long since I've been to school. I don't know what teachers wear. Like, my science teacher, Mr. Dartha, wore like he wore a lab coat, just duh, science teacher, a t-shirt and jeans. That was it. I love that guy. But it was like business casual. Do I want a pencil skirt? Nah, she's already in one, so let's... I really should have had something planned, but nothing if not consistent, and I'm consistently unprepared. She's from Thailand, but she's teaching in America, or air quote, America. Okay, that's what was bugging me. That's better. Before I started stream, I was screaming. It's the final countdown, but I was doing the, it's the mental breakdown, and then blasting away on my kazoo, because I have one. My mom bought me one for, I don't remember if it was for my birthday or for Hanukkah, but she bought me one. You know what? I'm gonna put her in a certain... Wait, does she... Yes, she has that. Yeah, okay. That is the wrong... There we go. I don't know if this would be school appropriate. But to make it so #1. She's wearing probably a sweater, or like a sweater blouse, something or another. You know these ones, the one with the ruffles and the useless buttons down the center. So how's everyone's Monday so far? Mine's doing okay. Woke up in a bit of a mood because I had a stupid dream that was like really uncalled for. Even for my standards, I wake up and like, brain, that was uncalled for. So I had to force myself to feel better by like taking a shower and whatnot. And I've found, and my sister will agree, and anyone else, if you feel bad about yourself, if you feel concerned about a certain medical issue that you're having, or just any issue at all, just take a shower and just take the time to get clean. You will feel 1,000 times better. Trust me. I mean, I don't know what the science is behind it. Probably it's the idea of being cleanly. Being clean makes us feel more accomplished. Because then it feels like, yes, we have done something. Or the idea of being clean is like, brought on a sense of security. I'm not sure what exactly it is. I'm not a therapist, despite what many people believe. Many people being no one, because I have delusions of grandeur. But yeah. How bad am I making her sleeves? And anyway. If you feel like shit, take a shower. And not just like just get in there, stand in there. No, get in there and immediately start lathering up. Yeah, get the water to your to your liking. Get it all ready. Turn on the shower, then step in and immediately get wet and then start lathering up. Just really get in there. And I don't know why. But after doing that, you feel 1,000 times better about yourself, and I'm on the wrong layer, and you will realize that your problems just needed a minute. You can face your problems after you've given yourself a minute. And the shower is just the best place to get your moment of levity. Now, unless you're folk, your current problem is that the shower doesn't work, well, then I don't know what to tell you, buddy. Or that you have like an obscenely large water bill because of the relaxing baths and showers you've been taking, in which case I am so sorry. Capris are okay in school, right? Yeah. Little cut capris, maybe with the... She's very flowery, so I think she'll have like the little... Not the cut. But like the ruffles. You know the ones I'm talking about. The capris that look like they could be long pants, but they're actually tied up. And that they have the little bows. And then we just get in there with a smaller eraser and erase. I don't know about y'all, but does the, about y'all? Wow. Am I a Texan? No, I'm Washingtonian. Does the narration thing get annoying? Because I'm always worried about being annoying. Like, when you're listening to a live stream, do you mind it when the streamer you're listening to is just narrating? Especially if it's just them in a stream? Yeah. Well, I actually don't mind if the streamer is narrating. If it's all they're doing, then I guess it's like, yes, I can see that. But most of the time, I'm just listening to live streams. So if a streamer decides they feel the need to narrate, especially if they're just trying to get an idea out, then I don't mind, because I narrate to get ideas out, or just to remind myself what I'm doing, just so I'm not redrawing the same damn lines over and over. And the bow's on the other side, so it won't show up here. And since I'm by myself for most of these streams, unless, you were here for, was it last stream? No, it wasn't. The stream was a while ago. I don't even remember what I was streaming about. It's from the clip where I'm screaming about the Siege of Mandalore. That clip on my channel so far has 20 views, and I'm just like, who is watching this garbage? But then again, it's Star Wars, so people are gonna check it. And I mean, I've thought, like, the delusion did pass through my brain at one point, thinking about becoming a YouTube, center. A Star Wars channel. But then I actually applied logic and thought, I don't want to become a Star Wars channel for the sole reason of my mental status would not be able to handle such unbridled levels of angst. If you know, you know. Because, oh my god, I'm a lifelong fan of Star Wars, but I also fucking hate Star Wars. It's not like, the stories have gone bad, and I liked Star Wars when I was a kid, but now as an adult, I think the prequels are dumb and whatnot. Okay, first of all, if you're one of these Star Wars fans that thinks the prequels were stupid and bad Star Wars and only watch the originals, congratulations, you are an 80-year-old man. Because the prequels were just gems of comedy. If you can't enjoy the absolute gem of comedy that was the prequels, you're not gonna enjoy Star Wars, because guess what? George Lucas is a comedy king. Hey, that's good. Well, let me add a little lip on the shoes. Just to make them a little bigger. I think, yeah, last stream for sure, I know I was talking about how every stream I'm on eventually leads to Star Wars. All streams lead to Star Wars. Okay, that's good. That's good. I like that. Let's erase the underlying anatomy. Because it doesn't matter if your anatomy looks a little whack by itself. But throw some clothes on, especially baggy clothes. Covers up all your anatomy mistakes. To a degree. I gotta throw out that disclaimer. So, okay, yeah. I don't know if you guys have noticed, her ankles look really fat in this. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but my new mic came in, and hopefully I sound better and won't have an annoying grrr in the background every once in a while. What the? It was just my curtains moving. I'm gonna keep that on low, on the down low, and whoop. Gotta figure, clean this up a little, just so there's no extra doohickeys, even though I'm gonna go back in later with, do the line art. I have to sneeze. No, I don't, apparently. Oh my god. Alright, who to next? I know... Am I gonna draw Daniel in his work clothes? Because Daniel O'Malley over here is... He is a recruiter for a gang, and he's the son of a police chief. So that's some fun dynamics there. He works part-time at the station as a something or another. But he's not full-time. His dad wants him to be on the force. If not a cop, or at least, working in law enforcement somewhere. But Daniel's not interested in law enforcement. He's more interested in talking to kids. And I have this idea where he actually recruits, air quote, juvenile delinquents just by talking to the kids that are taken into the station. And he realizes, hey, these kids, they're good kids. They just really don't have anywhere to go. Or, like, any system or support group for them. So that's how he leads them into the stray cats. He's like, hey, camaraderie and protection. I don't know if that did anything. I also moved the PNG down, my PNG down a little bit, so I'm not just floating in the abyss. I don't know if that looks better. So, and let me know. I take constructive criticism. I don't take it well, but I do take it. can take constructive criticism. I'm asking for it. I always ask suggestions if you say the music's too loud, my mic is too low. Especially when I'm streaming, just, hey, shout out. Bloody blah is too loud or too quiet, or this is too annoying. Can we not talk about this? Bloody blah. Sound off in the chat. If it's in the comment section, just say, hey, around here, this was too loud or too much or whatever. Just to let me know. Just the technical side of things, let me know. Or if I'm being an idiot, you can let me know. Always let me know when I'm being an idiot. Because chances are, I know I'm being an idiot. My mouth just kept going. No, that's not right. He's not a manho. Even though he is friends with this dude, Luca Moretti, who is one of the muscles for the gang. It'd be funny if Luca is actually more well-dressed. Oh, that'd be so funny. Like, his dad is like, Daniel, why are you always dressed like a bum? Look at Luca, that good kid. He's always well-dressed. And he's like, Dad, he's a gang member. So am I, but it's like, Dad, that dude is literally part of the mafia. But he'll never say it. He'll think it, snickering. I think it would be a good... Yes, he's gonna become a more important character. Daniel O'Malley. Because I was looking up names, just like how to spell the names, and I was typing up Daniel, and then O'Malley came up. Because I wanted to name him Daniel O'Neill, because stupid Stargate fan over here. But then, like, a Daniel O'Malley popped up, different spelling, and he was an, if I'm remembering correctly, an Australian fiction author, and I thought, this is like, O'Malley the Alley Cat, I've got to name him O'Malley, because he's a part of the Stray Cats, O'Malley the Alley Cat. So I just looked up the name, it's Gaelic, and it means either soft or chieftain. It's the thing with Gaelic, it's like, there's 50 million dialects for Gaelic, even though it's all from that one tiny little island of Ireland. And there's like a million different spellings for every word, and each group gets super pissy if you don't use their spelling, so I've just, to not confuse with the other dude, I've changed the spelling, so that is O'Malley. But it might not exactly be pronounced O'Malley in the original Gaelic. But that's what that is. I am stalling. Also, I took a shower today, so my hair is always staticky. It's just in my face, I had to adjust some things. I think I'll put him in like a t-shirt. Should I put him in the fit casual ones that I keep seeing commercials for? Yeah, okay. Oh, I was going to talk about his story. Okay. He and his dad, like most characters in this story, he and his dad don't get along that well. His dad is constantly saying, why are you doing this? Why are you dressed like that? Why are you hanging out with these people? And Daniel's just like, well, it's my life, Dad. Okay, Dad. Sure, Dad. I'll get right on it, Dad. Okay, Dad. You know, just not taking it too seriously. And that'll be very important for another character, Alara, to talk to him. It's like, how do you deal with your dad saying like that? I mean, that's your dad. It's like, how do you deal with the pressure of, you know, not pleasing him. That's not the word I want to use, but, you know. It's like, how do you deal with the pressure of appeasing your dad's expectations? And Daniel's just like, I don't. He might be my father, but he's not, like, me. You know, I'm living my life the way I want to. Sure, it's not exactly what he wanted, but he also wanted a daughter or something like that. Yes, he's the man that raised me, but he raised me to be me, not to be him 2.0, not to be a second him. If he wants me to be another him, he should just clone himself. Which will be a very important lesson for the main character and for the reader, because I'm still learning that very lesson. It's okay not to meet your parents' expectations, because your parents expect a lot. They may not realize it, but they expect a lot from their children. And if they wanted their children to be just like them, they should have just cloned themselves. And even then, cloning is not an exact copy, just like Star Wars taught us. And there we go! Conversation has drifted back to Star Wars. Oorah! Damn, Mr. Dorito Man, what the hell? I probably should tone down the cussing in case I clip any of these, because then YouTube will definitely be after me. Coffee is the elixir of the gods. I don't care what anyone says about anything. I have coffee. Not serotonin. Is it serotonin? Yeah, serotonin. Because dopamine is the... Well, they're both the feel-good, but I think the dopamine is the, is the accomplishment one, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Dopamine is the accomplishment, serotonin is just the feel-good chemical. Because they both make you feel good, but it's like a different kind of good. Like, serotonin just makes you feel happy, but dopamine makes you feel accomplished, which also makes you feel happy. So I'm wondering, is that it? Or is it the other way around? Is it serotonin and dopamine? Because dopamine, I know dopamine makes you feel happy. Because you, like, dopamine. That's where you get the, that's where we get the word from. But it's also called dope, as in the drugs, because you're doped up. Because dopamine, it's the same effect as, like, certain drugs. I'm not gonna give him a belt. Too many characters have belts. Honestly, show of hands in the chat. Who actually here wears a belt on a daily or regular basis? I sure as hell don't. Even though I wear jeans and probably should wear a belt, my jeans are pretty form-fitting to where they're not going anywhere. His leg is broken. Let's fix that. Also, I just realized his head is really big. Okay, that's better. That's better. I draw cartoons, so the head is always... I'm always... Like, is the head too big? But at the same time, I'm like, well... If it's technically too big, well then I can just say, hey, it's a cartoon. Technically their eyes are too big. That was a big-ass truck that just went by. Let me just fix the slate, actually. I haven't listened back to it yet because I don't know why. But last stream, I think, if memory serves, like a huge jet flew by. And it was really freaking loud. But that's only if memory serves correctly. Should he also volunteer as like a lifeguard at like, the community pool? Hmm. I haven't quite decided on what exactly happens in the city arc of Dreamwalkers, but I do know the city arc is all about reconnecting to people and healing from past experience, from past traumas. You know, I'm just everyone wears pants here, except I'm gonna put them in shorts, like maybe some basketball shorts. There we go. It's funny how you'd think like in a story like this, it would start with a character in the city has a traumatic thing happen to them and goes to the forest to heal and relearn how to be a person. But in this story, just the way it happened, not quite the exact opposite, but it they go like something happens to them and we end up in the city and the city arc is about healing and connecting to people. Because a lot of people think the city is a lot of every man for himself, but that's the way like nature like out in the woods is kind of every man for himself except in like pack dynamics, while in the city it's more about collaboration. There is more teamwork in the city than there is in the forest. Just based on what I know about nature. Yes, everything in the forest and nature are connected, but it's about eating each other, dying, decay, circle of life type thing. In the city, or moreover in human settings and human environments, it's about connections, camaraderie, working together, having a shared goal. Because eventually we do go back to the forest, and the characters take what they've learned from the city and implement it into their forest life. I'm not sure how spoilery this is, but I'm just trying to get it out of my brain. Because in my current script, I don't have really anything picked out. These shoes look terrible. I haven't written anything solid for the city arc yet, so these streams are just kind of helping me get it all out of my head. My brain is a steel trap. Well, it's not a steel trap. My my brain is like a colander. You can pour all the shit in there, and sometimes something slipped through that really should have stayed in the colander, and sometimes if you want to get the other crap out of it, you gotta shake it up a little bit. I don't know where this analogy went. It went out the holes. The many holes that are in my head. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 holes in your head? 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and a mouth. Because you don't really count the eyes as holes, do you? Even though your pupil is a hole, and the iris is the muscle that contracts. And it connects back. But do you count that? Because it's not really a hole, because the eye is an organ, but the organ has a... I don't know. Anyway, 5. I have 5 holes that I know of in my head. Not counting eyeballs, because I'm not sure any sane person would count those as a hole. Character design, therapy, childhood trauma, war crimes, anatomy, science division, Star Wars. That's what you get from one of my streams. That's actually not bad. I don't know what kind of shoe this would be, but yeah, I kind of like that. It's kind of like a athletic jogging shoe. I'm not a big shoe person. A bunch of my classmates were. Oh my god, you guys... I don't know what the website was called, but there was like this website where you could design your own sports shoes. And you could like get your own color patterns and whatnot, design them, and then you could like order them to ship them to your door. It was the Barbie dress-up flash game for guys. Because they were just designing sports shoes, but us girls got into it too, because the guys found it and like, whoa, dude, what website is that? And they're like, here, let me bring it up for you. And then we're all just designing shoes. And I'm sitting here like, oh, this is such a guy thing, designing shoes. And I'm sitting here like, this is... And now I'm realizing, this is a fashion thing. Fashion is seen as more of a girl's thing, and I don't know why, because guys are more concerned about what they wear, not more concerned, let me rephrase, guys are just as concerned about what they wear and how they look as girls are. It's that girls talk about it. Guys need a whole ass intervention. Which is why, for women's fashion, you just see, get the latest trends, and it's like just a regular commercial. But when guys' fashion is talked about, it's like a whole skit. Like, I just saw a commercial for the, I don't know what it's called. It's like Casual Fit or something like that. Fit Casual. And it's about these, like, these shirts. These tight-fitting, loose, 100% cotton shirts that look really good, but it's like there's this whole skit where this guy walks into an ER and is like, I have an emergency, my casual shirts, they just don't fit right, and she's like, we need to operate. And she gets them on the table and she's like, boxy fitting, rough material, it's worse than I thought. It's so fucking funny, and it's this whole thing. It has to be this whole thing for guys when they need to change their fashion or, you know, like, change up their closets and fix their appearance. Which is why also the Dr. Squatch commercials are just so fucking funny. Because they're like, you're not a dish. You're a man. It's like, most of this men's soap is actually dish detergent. So, like, you have to, like... The guys need a whole intervention when it comes to their appearances, even though they are thinking about it a lot. They're just, like, not actually thinking about it. Because they're like, soap is soap. Why should it worry? And why should it matter? And then they're, like, worried about how they smell all the time. It's like, if you were worried about how you would smell and what girls like, you would wear, air quote, girl, you would use girl body wash, because, like, oh yeah, this is what girls like to smell. And smell like a flower. No, but you're concerned about what girls like men to smell like. So then you put on all these god-awful chemicals that are destroying your balls. You smell like a dishwasher. No bueno. But yeah, just to sit there and suggest, or like some just assholes to sit there and just suggest that fashion is a female thing. Fuck you. You're not paying attention. Fashion is a human thing because it's also a bird thing. Birds care about their appearance just as much as humans do. I mean, in fact, it is all they do. It's all birds with their appearance. That's like their whole thing. The mating dance, that's the whole thing for birds, especially birds of paradise. Have you seen those mating courtship dances? Holy shit. The tango eats your heart out. Oh, blessed bean water. Blessed be the bean water that cometh from the trees in the cocoa pod. They don't come from cocoa pods. Cocos do, but you know what I mean. Do you? Honest, I don't know. Did I give those to... I did, actually. Hold up. Okay. Nikola Horvat is Petra Horvat's baby brother. I originally was designing... Like, I was gonna give Petra a soft boy husband. A little male life for her. But then when I, started design... But I designed her first. And I gave her the name Horvat, which is a Russian-Croatian looking sounding name. And I don't remember what it means, but it's Russianish it's from Croatia, but it's like a Russian name. So I thought, okay, yeah, she's from Croatia, so that's how she'll look. But then I designed her husband and thought, oh wait, but then that would be his last name. And when I just designed him, it just looked like they looked too similar. So I thought, ugh, this is her baby brother. And then I made the doctor. Dr. Stephen Horvat, her husband, and he took her last name because his last name was, like Flowers or something like that, and he hated his last name. So he just took her last name because she wears the pants in the relationship, even though he's the doctor. He doesn't care. How they met is a cute story. I'm just like, I don't care who you are. Anytime, like, two people meet because one of them stumbled into the emergency room with, like, a dumbass injury, and the doctor's like, oh my god. Doctor or nurse. And then it just, like, the idiot that stumbled in there is just smitten with the medical professional. I don't know, man. That ship is just brilliant. It's brilliant. Since he's got a bit of a tummy, and he is such a cute boy, soft boy. Baby boy Nikolai. Nicola. Baby boy Nicola. I don't know what he does for a living. I don't know career pick for him. But he is also one of the recruiters. Because we got the teacher, a air quote cop, and somewhere else that the kids would hang out to where... Because the recruiters are not only the friendly faces of the gang, but they're the ones that bring in the new members and teach them the ropes and whatnot. So I'm wondering... Wait, is he maybe a librarian? Where would kids hang? Actually, should he... Oh! Sorry. he should run like a taco wagon or something like that for food, handing out food for the kids. Because that's where kids are going to hang out. They're going to hang out at school. They're going to be sent to the police station. And they're hungry, so they're going to want food. So he is a recruiter slash chef for the gang. That's it. He's a cook. And a damn good cook, too. I'm just deciding that now. I don't know if it's going to be a taco wagon, but that's the only, phrase I know. He serves food. Street food. Good street food. I don't know what Croatian cuisine is, but all I know is that I've seen 3 to 5 documentaries about the wildlife of Croatia, and I want to go so bad. I know it's all probably national park and you'd never actually be able to see it, but there's a town in Croatia where they let the cranes nest on the roofs of the houses, and the houses look like they're from the not colonial era, but they're the houses just look so good. At least in the documentary they did, and I'm just I want to live there. Especially with the free-range pastures and whatnot, with the peregrine falcons. And the raccoons, the turtles, and the raccoon dogs. Plenty of, both introduced to the area. Not the turtles, but the raccoons and raccoon dogs were introduced to the area, which, I have my opinions about introducing species to an area. But I'm okay with the raccoons being there in Croatia because the raccoons eat a certain crayfish that is American, and it's out competing the local crayfish and causing problems, so that's why I'm okay with the raccoons. Sort of. Same with the raccoon dogs. They're not causing problems, even though the raccoons do also sometimes eat the turtles and the fish that live in the streams, but raccoons gotta eat. And it's not the raccoons' fault that they were introduced to the area, but the fact that they were introduced to the area just yerks me. Especially half of the Australian outback has been screwed the hell up because of introducing animals to an area that don't belong there. Like rabbits. Rabbits were introduced to Australia to get rid of a certain grass that the British colonists were sick of dealing with, but then nothing ate the rabbit for a while because despite the Australian outback being the craziest thing on the planet, they didn't know that they could eat the rabbit for a while, and I could be talking out my ass, so anyone who knows the actual story, please correct me. I want to... wildlife preservation is a passion of mine. So I found out recently that dingoes are also introduced to Australia. They are not native to Australia, but they've been there for so long that they kind of have become a native to Australia. So that's when, at that point, there's no use in trying to remove them. But, unlike, however, in New Zealand's case, with the Kias, they are a green parrot that lives in the New Zealand area. I don't know if they have their own island. I think they do. They have their own little island that's either near or off the coast or part of New Zealand area. I'm, again, fuzzy on the details. That's the wrong fold. And the... Hello there. My phone went off. The parrot has no natural predators. And it has no fear. It is naturally curious and gets into a lot of trouble with the local tourism. It's actually really funny. However... Why are there so many notifications? Is someone texting me? Nope, it's just YouTube and Pokemon. Well, you can sit over there, sir. I'm busy. Anyway, weasels were somehow introduced to the island, and they're endangering the parrots. The Kia parrots. And here's the kicker. Researchers have tried to get rid of the weasels on the island because the weasels are eating the eggs and attacking the parrots while they sleep. So they've tried setting up traps for the weasels to get rid of them, but the Kias are so goddamn curious and inquisitive about everything in their surroundings. They go to check out the traps, and when a Kia is curious about something, it means, how does it work? How can I break it? Because they got like little pincer beaks, so they can just open things. Anything they want. So when the Kias find the traps, they'll like break open the traps, eat the bait that's inside, and then the traps are useless. Even though the researchers are pulling out their hair trying to get rid of the fucking weasels so they stop killing the parrots, but said parrots they're trying to protect are self-sabotaging unknowingly because cool new toy. So I'm just... that whole situation is so funny to me, but also I know if I was in that situation, I would be so mad. And I would be so pissed. I'm like, you know what? Parrot, if you're not gonna let me set up traps to stop the weasels from killing you, you can just die then. But they don't know what they're doing. They're birds, even though they are incredibly intelligent. But they're like, I don't know how to put it. They're so intelligent that they refuse to follow direction. That's how intelligent they are. Is they know they're not supposed to do something or certain things, but they do it anyway because they can. Like, there's a story. I watched a whole documentary on the Kia parrot. It's fantastic. If I find this documentary, remind me. If I find it, I think I've said this before on a different video, and I didn't link the video because I forgot what it was. If I find this documentary about the Kia parrots, I'll try to link it somewhere. It might actually have been on Netflix. I think it was called like that's what it was called. It was a documentary called Bird Brains, and I think it was on Netflix. It was so good. It was just talking about birds and how intelligent they are, and it was just a documentary about all that. And I didn't realize how smart ravens are. I thought, ravens are naturally smart because they're birds of prey and they're corvids and whatnot, just naturally smart. But I didn't realize how smart they were. And the documentary kind of focused on the Kias, but it was just talking about how other, just birds in general were intelligent. They also had a bit on the African greys and other birds that I'm totally blanking on because the bit with the Kias just blew my mind because I'd never heard of them before that point. So yeah, there's a bit in the documentary where this guy who runs a restaurant on the island for the tourists, it's called the Wobbly Kia. It's a really cute name, by the way. And he was wondering why his cream cheese kept getting busted into, and he had, no idea who the culprit was. Because, he would close the lid, and then the next morning he would open the cream cheese or whatever. It was like a dairy product. I don't remember if because it wasn't, mozzarella or anything, because it wasn't in the fridge, but it was, in a container. And it would be closed in the morning, and he'd open it, and there's, bits missing from it. He's, what the hell? So he set up a camera in the kitchen trying to catch the culprit. And then in the camera feed, you see one of the frickin' parrots, the Kia, walking in the kitchen using the cat door, goes right to the container, opens the lid, eats the cheese or the cream or whatever, puts the lid back on, and leaves. That is so freaking smart that it knew to put the lid back on. Because it knows. The little shit knows it's stealing. I have a feeling that bird knows it's stealing food, but it doesn't care because nummy. And I that is just so freaking funny. I think he's wearing sweatpants. No, he's wearing button-ups. He's wearing, yeah. They're just looser. There we go. That's all their clothes. Now that that's done, for simplicity's sake, I will erase the extra anatomy bits. And then we will get right into the line art. I need to fix that. So yeah, if you have Netflix, bless you. But also, find the documentary. I think it's called Bird Brains. I hope it's still up. Because it's a fascinating documentary. That, and also, I found out Kias are beautiful. They are a beautiful bird. Even if you're not a fan of birds. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of birds. Even though, like, if I had to pick a favorite bird, I would usually say, like, penguin or raven or something like that. You know, basic bird. Birds and I don't get along very well, despite being raised on a chicken farm. Well, actually, because I was raised on a chicken farm, birds and I don't get along very well. But yeah, the Kias are just fascinating little creatures. Not to speak ill of any other parrots, like the grays and the cockatoos. It's just the Kias just tickle me a certain. They got the funny bone. Line art. Set phasers for 5. Yep. Hang on, let me make that a little smaller because I'm not color picking yet. There we go. Now I don't feel so crowded. I don't know if it annoys anyone else, but if I'm listening to an art streamer and I can hear their pen scraping on the pad, it just satisfies me in a way. It's not like in an ASMR way, but it's like it's simulating the sound of like us all in a room together, like a draw with me session, and I don't know, it just makes me feel more comfortable, more comforted, even though it's a kind of a parasocial thing. It's just the idea of having some fellow art friends and we're all like in an office together just drawing, chatting away, shooting the shit. That just stimulates my pack brain. I don't know, some people find it annoying when they can hear things scraping or just excuse me, can hear outside voices. Beak and Brain. Okay. Thank you, Talia. The show is called Beak and Brain. I thought it was called Bird Brains. Yeah, it's a documentary. Or you said show or document? Yeah. It's like Beacon, or was it like Beak to Brain or something like that? Anyway, it's not called Bird Brains. Even though I think they said that a few times in the documentary as a joke, but I don't know. But that was a long time ago when I watched it, because that's when we had our own Netflix. No, we don't. It's not because of these subscription reasons. It's just because, well, we just didn't want to pay for it. And that's the official story. Yes, we were all paying for our own Netflix account. Shh. Shushing you for no reason. That just does not need to be there. Nicola, what is your hair? There we go. Now it's just fluffy. Sweet, soft, fluffy boy. Yeah, okay. Documentary. Not a show, it's a documentary. But now I've subscribed to a channel where this is the channel where I've seen all the Croatia documentaries. It's called the channel is just called Free High Quality Documentaries, and that I will link in the I'll have it as a pinned comment once this goes live. I'll pin their channel because they deserve more attention. The fact that they're making all these documentaries for free is just amazing. Now, some of the videos do have an audio mixing issue, but that doesn't make the information they're presenting any less valuable. There was a documentary I was listening to on butterflies, specifically the butterflies from a certain era, the Apollo butterflies, the ones that lived in the mountains. It was quite fascinating, because those caterpillars only eat one type of plant. And it also kind of was a documentary on how the wine industry affects local bug life, especially with the pesticides and whatnot. And that one had a bit of an audio mixing error. But there was another documentary from the same channel that I watched that was also about moths and butterflies. But I think this one was called this one was called Messengers of the Gods. So I was like, that's interesting. And that's when I found out that some cultures believed butterflies were the messengers of the gods, or would be like omens from the underworld. Especially the moth aspect. The moths. Which I think I said this in a previous stream, that, yeah. Did you know moths were originally called butterflies? Because they would come into homes at night and drink the steamings off the top of the milk that was left out in the night to set to make butter. It's the butterflies, since they've come in and stole our butter because they were just drinking the nectar. They also believed that moths were they believed moths were witches in disguise. And I'm like, okay, now this I've gotta hear. And here's why they believed moths were witches. Because when a person was sick, they, and have a fever, they would sweat because it was hot out. So so they would have the windows open so they could get some fresh air. And the scent of the sweat and whatnot would attract the moths, so they would land on the person to drink the sweat because it's a good source of water and salt for them, and then they would fly out the window. And because of that, they believed that was the witch coming in through the window to steal the person's soul, so when they died, they couldn't go to heaven because the witch stole their soul. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is amazing. I needed to know this information for personal reasons. Oh, it's just, the more I learn about superstition, it's a weird thing. I love learning about superstitions, but also I hate learning about superstitions because people have actually been murdered. And, animals have been nearly eradicated. People have been murdered. A plague started because of some superstitions. Yeah, the Black Plague, the famous Black Plague, kicked off because the Pope hated black cats, and I can't fucking talk. It was not the Pope, but it was like a religious leader hated black cats, so he spread the superstition that black cats were agents of Satan and bringers of bad luck. So then people were killing the cats because begone worker of Satan, and then it spread to like all cats getting that treatment. So then the cat population went down, the rat population went up, and thus the spread of the bubonic plague happened because somebody didn't like cats. And as we all know, the fear of cats is very popular among many world tyrants. Joseph Stalin and Hitler are just a few examples of people who had a fear of cats. This is not to say cats are superior, but if you are afraid of cats, chances are you might be a future world dictator, and you need to be taken out. All in good jokes, kids. All in good jokes. This is all jest. Nothing I say here is to be taken seriously, except the advice about parental expectations. And then maybe take that advice with a grain of salt, because I can confidently say I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. Except when I do know what I'm talking about. Then I know exactly what I'm talking about. Here, you want some advice, kid? Don't take my advice. Because it's very hit or miss on whether or not I actually am speaking mad facts. Most of the time, I'm just the Mad Hatter. There we go. A little better. Oh, his beard. No, I'll color it. I'll color in the beard. It doesn't need to be the line art. So a while ago, and this becomes relevant later. A while ago, I felt kind of self-conscious because I had a realization that everyone has their field of study. Even if it's not their career, it's their area of expertise. And I wanted mine to be, I was going to say mine was history and whatnot, but I really don't know a lot about, history in a worldwide regard, like my brother does. My brother knows a whole heckin' lot about the Greeks and the Romans and their ancient culture. He actually knows about that stuff because he studied it for his own story. And I'm like, well, what's my historical field of study? Because I don't know dinosaurs all that well. I don't know politics all that well. I know animal facts, but I mean, it's not really my field of study. I just know this shit because I watched documentaries on the Red. But I found out recently, my actual my passion field of study is superstition and how they affect the real world. Because you can know about superstitions and folklore and whatnot, but how those said superstitions and folk tales affect actual people, that is my field. That is my current field of study. Because it is a fascinating field. The study of what humans are willing to do to each other because of fear. I mean, that's like the broad stroke of it. Because, like witch hunts and whatnot. That's not based in fact at all. But the lengths humans are willing to go to, the terrible things, the crimes against humanity they will commit on each other and call it acts of God because of their fear of the devil and darkness and whatnot is just baffling to me. Which is why I realize the most powerful fear that everyone has is fear of the unknown. So I have made it my personal journey to know as much random bullshit as possible about every subject. So that I know, just because I don't know what something is, that doesn't mean I have to fear it. If you don't want to have the fear of the unknown, know things. Or, know enough to know that the unknown is often very familiar. I just said something profound. Whoa. Know enough to know that the unknown is often familiar. Or something like that. Holy shit. That's the quote of the stream. I don't care. That's the quote of the stream. Now, how do we workshop this? Is it know enough to recognize that the unknown is familiar, is often familiar? Or should it be know enough to realize the unknown is quite familiar or something like that? There's a bunch of tiny little minute details that aren't gonna mean anything when you zoom out on a full page, but I'm adding it anyway for this one reference because this is the one time I'm gonna be drawing him in this reference. Alright. Nicola is done. The line art for Nicola is done. And I had a whole, I didn't think this was gonna take as long as it was going to, so I thought, man, I need to have other things prepared. So I was prepared to change up the whole stream, mid-stream, to start doing sketch dumps for characters because all the references are done. Yay! That means I can start drawing all the character interactions and whatnot, which I could have been doing earlier, but busy with a Warriors comic. But I might not have to. Well, depending on how long the stream is. I had a sandwich earlier, so I don't think I'll be as hungry later. Because I started at 12, really, and it's 1 o'clock now. I think the longest stream I've ever done was 4 hours. But that was because I was doing a creature design, and I don't think I've ever streamed that long since. And with good reason, because that was absolute hell. But as long as my streams are over an hour, then I don't care how long they are. Over an hour, maybe no longer than for my hip's sake, we'll just say no longer than 3 hours. Because depending on the day, that usually means, 3 hours. If I start at 12, 3 hours at 3, that means I'll have to end soon because I'll need to get something started for dinner. I know 3 is a little early to be thinking about dinner, but sometimes we need to think about what's for dinner, so I need to get something out of the freezer and start thawing it out. And I also have chores around the place. Is that another frickin' bird that hit the living room window? God dang it. We have curtains up and screens and whatnot, so I don't know why they keep hitting the damn window. Anyway. But say if it's like a Wednesday stream, because I start those at 10, just so I can get them done. If I do a 3-hour stream for that, that means I'm done by 10, 11, 12, 13, 1 o'clock. So yeah, 1 o'clock. But doing comics for 3 hours, that's a lot of work. Now, unless I have 3 pages fully sketched and I'm just doing the line art for them, I think that would be fine. To do a slightly longer stream on Wednesdays, but most of the time I don't have them. I don't have them all sketched out, and that's a lot of spoilers. But here's the thing, though. My Warriors stream, my Warriors comic, Warriors fan comic, The Path to Brighter Stars, The First Steps, is what I'm calling part 1. Yes, part 1. It's really it's not a passion project, even though it kind of is by definition. I'm just using it as practice for when I finally get to work on this story, Dreamwalkers, for real, because I want Dreamwalkers to be published. But I want it to also look good because it's my baby. It is the oldest story I have in the works. I've been working on Dreamwalkers as a concept since, I want to say 10. Because, wow, actually, hold up. Eight to 10 years old, I'm just gonna say, is how long I've had this story in the works. Now, it has gone through a plethora of changes, which I might go over one day in like an official video or something. Which will be a bit to get all together. But I have all the papers. I have all the old papers and whatnot. I think I might go over that in a video. If people are so interested. Sound off in the comments below. Or the chat right now. Oh, fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway. So, okay, I say that to say this. Path to Brighter Stars is not an important project for me. I mean, it is because I'm telling a story that I want to tell. But at the same time, if there are spoilers and whatnot, I think it's fine because it's not like an official property. It's a fan work. So, you know, I'm not going to publish it or anything. It's just going to be on DeviantArt. And here on YouTube. So, I'm going to actually make those lines thinner. But I'm going to just go through with the 5, because it's really hard to get the whole numbers. Anyway. So, I'm actually thinking about just saying screw it when it comes to spoilers, or air quote spoilers. Because it's just a fan work, and it's just practice for me on how it looks. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think my DeviantArt crew follows me on YouTube. Which is fine, you don't have to follow me everywhere if you're watching me. It's just if you want the whole spiel, follow all my links in the description. I am more active on Toy House than I am anywhere else. Technically, I'm more active on YouTube, but that's just browsing. But yeah. I check my everythings every day, or at least I try to. Except on Saturdays. So, yeah. So, Wednesdays might actually become a different kind of stream where I'm not gonna worry about spoilers. I'm just gonna work on the comic to get it done. Because that's why I changed to the, 2 pages a week schedule. Because I just want this comic to get done. But also, I don't want to rush it, and I don't want to quit, because this story is something I want to tell. It's just, it's not a story I can change into, like, an official property, like I have with Dreamwalkers and another few stories, like Warzone and Project Reclaim. Those were something else, or like, were fan works, but I turned them into their own thing, because the story I had in mind had nothing to do with the set lore and whatnot. With the Path to Brighter Stars, however, this is very much a warrior's story. And I mean, I could change some things to make it more of its own thing, you know, like Clouded Moon, or another DeviantArt comic called What Lurks Beneath. My nose is really itchy, so I feel like I gotta sneeze. But no sneeze be coming. So I'm a little sorry. Ugh. I took my allergy meds, so that's not it. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, there we go. But it's just the way the story is set up and the world building, I don't see how I could change it into its own property to where, you know, I could put more time and effort into it. But here's the thing. Sometimes you just gotta have a fun little nothing project that you just use as practice. So your official stuff, you don't feel as much pressure for it to look good because you already know you can do it. Which, I mean, isn't a reason not to try. Because with Path to Brighter Stars, or the first steps, I am trying. And I'm gonna put my all into it to make it look good, for the story to come out right. Because I am also practicing my writing. And setup, payoff, layout, marketing, you know, stuff like that. But also, it's not, I don't plan to monetize it. You know what I mean? Because it is a fan work, so legally I cannot monetize it. Or publish it or whatnot. Even, yeah, if I tried to publish it, it would take a lot of reformatting because the pages are at the wrong DPI for publishing and whatnot, as I've just found out as of today. Thank you, Starfish Face. I'm gonna actually make it smaller. There we go. Only erase slightly there. Sorry, I just stopped talking. There we go. The eye was bugging me. So anyway, I'm gonna start treating Dreamwalkers, not Dreamwalkers, I'm gonna start treating Path to Brighter Stars for what it is. It's a fan project. It's just fan fiction that I'm using as practice, which is what you use fan fiction for anyway. It's not just to mass create when it comes to a property that you really like and whatnot. It's also just a way of creative expression. So I'm just gonna treat it as that from now on. It actually is just a fan work, but a lot of people on DeviantArt have started following me specifically because of said fan work. So if I say, okay, Path to Brighter Stars is going on hiatus, I'm going to be working on my actual real, I don't want to say real, because Path to Brighter Stars is real, but my official stories, I should say, not fan work. I'm going to start working on those more and put it on the back burner. And if people want to leave, go ahead. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But then people know, oh, I liked their fan art, so I liked their fan work so much in the story and writing and expressions, I might just stay to check out their other stuff. What they create without the confines of world building that someone else created. Because that's what I've seen a few people say about my art on DeviantArt, saying that they really liked the way I draw expressions, especially when I'm like exaggerating. Yeah, my expressions and the shading and lighting have gotten a few compliments. Now, I know that's hard to see, hard to see looking at what I'm doing now, because I'm just drawing a basic reference. But when it comes to, like, characters in action, I try to draw the focus towards, you should draw the focus towards the face, but I like to draw the focus towards the eyes. And I don't remember who it was, but he was a character designed for the original Dark Crystal movie. And he always started a sketch with the eyes, because that's the part you want to focus on. And I haven't fully implemented that into my... Excuse me. Wow. Pardon. Into my creative process, but I have kept it, I'm keeping it in mind, especially for Dreamwalkers. For Dreamwalkers specifically, and this is for story reasons, I want their eyes to be the most grabbing thing about them. I'll show you this real quick. To the point where, depending on where you are from, your eyes look different. Like, the Shia tribe, their eyes look are colored differently and are shaped different. They're more angular, but not sharp, but so you can tell which way they're looking with the way their eyes are angled. For the city, they're more rounded, more softer. There's the darker ring around their pupils and the underlighting, which has kind of just gone wherever at this point. But as long as it's there, then it's fine. And for the outsiders or the outcasts, their eyes are closer to the tribe, but their pupils are very much pointed, more angled, and there's a dark underline, and the lighting is on the sides instead of around the pupil, like for Shia tribe. Because for the Shia tribe, I wanted to make it look like no matter where they are and who they're next to, their eyes are the ones that are that appear to be more glowy and brighter. It's like, if you look at the eyes up close, it's like, oh, these are different. But if you look at the eyes in like the, let me zoom out, in the navigation, they look distinctly different in this little folder. Like, the city eyes kind of look more childish in a way, while the outsider and the Shia tribe look more, I don't want to say more adult, but more sharp. And then, of course, I also have to keep in mind, different different ethnicities have different shaped eyes and pupils and coloring and whatnot. Like what I did for Lolita here, because she's from Thailand. But the base colors, even for another character I have, Dahlia, she's Japanese, or at least of Japanese descent. I don't know if she's from Japan, but she does have Japanese heritage. She's not from the tribe, so her eyes are more like the city people. But since they are so dark, you don't quite see the different colors in her eyes, but they are there. Especially for, her children, which are half tribe, but from the Shia tribe. So they got the Shia tribe coloring and shape, but they're still darker, even it shows up more. And I think I decided that because hello, dog. Is the basket uncomfortable? I'm gonna get on the level with you guys. I need to get my dog a new basket. He's got a little wicker basket here, and it's just kind of falling apart. Where there's just sticks everywhere, but he likes it. He likes the little basket. Because it's a little confined little circle for him to sit in. No, please, no barking, please, no. God, I don't want a repeat of what happened last time. That was hell. I can only imagine what it was like for you guys, but... God dang. But I'll forgive the barking because my new mic came in a day early. Not even a day early. It came in that Friday. I was supposed... Amazon said I was getting this package today. But I got it on Friday. So it says, oh, cool. So I'll be sure to listen back to this stream and go back to Amazon and let them know that I like this mic. I don't know what some people's deal is with headphones and headsets and mics and whatnot. Because I was listening to a stream the other day and one of them was like, ugh, I'm on a $60 headset. Oh my god. And like, the other guys were like, yeah, you sound great for $60. And I'm sitting there like, 60 fucking dollars? I'm excited about this new mic I have, and it was $30. The old mic I had was like, that's the wrong button, was like $25, and I was excited for that. And they're like, oh, I'm on a $60 headset. It's like, you sound the same as you always do, even with your like boom arm and whatnot. So, I don't know. I mean, there is an upside to buying a more expensive product because then there's the perceived higher quality. But if you lift the hood, strip out the parts, a car is still a car. Except Ford. Because that's just a piece of shit. If it has an engine and 4 wheels, a car is a car. But all the other doodads are what make it different. Oh my god. We're in the home stretch, people. I said I was going to finish this stream. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a little coffee break. Okay. Sometimes when I have the, I was out of check OBS, because sometimes when I have the OBS window up and I hit B to get back to basic from drinking, it goes to my BRB page, and I'm like, was I there the whole time? Oh no! But no, I wasn't. Thank God. Alright, time for coloring. Muscle. I'm not going to use the same skin tone for Nicola, but I'm gonna loosely base it. Let's write his name first. I can write a better K than that. Nicola Orvat. And then for colors, I think I'm going to make him a little lighter skinned than his sister, since he's in the kitchen more. She's more out in the sun. Maybe a little... Yeah, there we go. But I think I'm going to give him the same eye color. We'll see. Yeah, I'm going to have to calm down on my talking. My throat is actually starting to hurt a little bit. That might be because I'm not used to... Really, I'm not used to talking that much. You'll never know just by listening to the streams, but I actually don't talk that much. At least, you know, in an average day. With a name like O'Malley, he's definitely white. More, like, Irish looking, but not ginger. Not a redhead like Spencer or Sean, which I am so tempted to make Spencer and Sean brothers, or at least cousins. But that would... No, he's not... Spencer's not David's son anymore, so it's okay. It's okay. We're okay. Whew, we're good. But even then, it would have made them cousins. But that's their sister, brother, but through marriage on the. Anyway, it's not canon anymore, so I don't have to worry about it. Right, then a little more yellow, a little lighter. Just make that a little more. Over here, maybe a little darker. I don't know. Is this a good skin tone for a Thailander? Or is it too yellow? Because picking skin tones for me is really difficult. Like, is this it? We'll see. I don't know what subjects she teaches, but she's definitely a teacher. But I think this story takes place in, during summer. I'm not sure, though. Or, I never imagined there being snow for the city section, so maybe summer. Late spring, early summer, but that means she would, when she comes back. Okay, when she comes back, it should be fall, but she's only gone for a year, so it should be almost winter. But the summer camp thing, I'm gonna have to go back and rethink the timeline, like weather-wise. But it begins... Wait a minute. The story begins in spring, but then there's 3 years that we spend to where she's 14. 14 and she leaves. Spends time. Leaves again. I think she's gone for a year? I don't know. Anyway. What do we think? This or this? I like this. Even though he does spend more time in the sun, given his athletic wear. So then he would actually be a little darker. Oh, no, that's too dark. That's better. Yeah, still Caucasian, but, you know, spends a lot of time outside. Okay, let's get the names written. Lalita Anant, which I hope I pronounced that right. That is large lettering. Hold up. Despite that being some pretty good handwriting. What was it a 5? It was, yeah. So I'm just gonna do a 7. Now, I haven't done it for the other characters, for like the other members, but the muscles I gave like little code names. Like, for the muscles, we got Roberto Bobby Moretti, and his like tag name was Bobcat, because, you know, Bob. And then Luca Moretti was Lynx, because he's the son of Roberto Bobcat Lynx. Very similar, but distinctly different. And I just thought it was funny. And then we have Petra. I don't know if it's Horvat or Orvat. It's it's Russian, so I think you pronounce the H, but I don't want to call her Horvat. And her code name was Purr Baby, and it's I don't know. I just thought it was funny because it would throw you off the Purr Baby. What is she like? Is she like this? Like a little mousy librarian? No, she's the muscle. She's like the bouncer. And so I'm not sure if I'm gonna give like the other members, like the doctor, the doctors. I don't know if they're gonna have code names or not because Sasha's a full member, but Steven, I mean, it's not that he's like a half member. He's still a member, but he's like a member just because he's married to Petra. Oh my god, David is so tiny next to him, and I just realized his head's too big. Well, it's actually his head isn't big, I think. It's just his hair is huge. But compared to everyone else, his head does look pretty big. I think it's just his hair. So let me just try and shrink wrap this down a little bit, see if that does anything. Hmm. That's really the kick in the pants when you're going through when you draw the refs not all at the same time, because then you realize, oh, the style's different. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, I think it was just his hair. His head, not so much, but his hair definitely. And I don't know, Sasha's a lot taller than I thought she was going to be. You know, it's, yeah, that's fine. Alright, let's get their eyes colored in. Eyes and teeth. Was I talking about something else prior? Oops. Okay, yeah. Nico and Petra are gonna have the same eye color. But I might... They should have the same eye colors, but are they in the same area? Now, because if I do what I did with Bobby, he'll look the same. His eyes would look similar. but they would be the same colors. Oh my god, this man is so small and soft and cute. I need to get him a partner. No, it's just whoop, 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 whoop. Just give him the same eye color. So the other day, my mom sent me this video that just I busted a seam. It's a Saturday Night Live short, so I immediately rolled my eyes. But I think it's called Overprotective Mom. And this guy comes home with a girlfriend, is like, Mom, we're home. And then Pedro Pascal with a wig and nightshirt and slippers with fake boobs comes out and she's, oh, mi hon. Greets her son, and she's like this overprotective Latina mom. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant because his girlfriend is white. And it's just, oh. Oh my god, if you haven't seen it, I think, yeah, SNL Overprotective Mom. It was so goddamn funny. And it made me realize something the other day. I was like, oh, the Earth would explode. Like, the universe would rip itself apart if these two people ever got married. Like, if a Mexican and a Jew got married, holy god, the universe would tear itself apart, because that means not only, like, no matter who you are in the relationship, like, if you're the Jew, that means you have a Jewish mother. And now you also have a Latina stepmom. So they're gonna be overprotective of their babies. They're gonna be critical of you. They're gonna stuff you full of food once they like you. And it's gonna be one hell of a family reunion, because then the the mother-in-laws are gonna meet each other, and it's gonna be like an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. And I don't know if that's racist for me to say so, but I have a Jewish mother, and I know the stereotypes for Jewish mothers and Mexican moms. Oh my god, I shudder to think of the outcome. But who knows, maybe your mom and your mother-in-law get along, and then they turn all their attention on you. And your relationship. And your pillows. The way the casserole was lined. Say, oh, you're having guests over and you don't have the Shabbat Shalom pillows out? Mija, why are you wearing those slippers like that? This is gonna get me canceled later, but it's all in good fun. It's just jokes, man. Just jokes. At least there's one thing the Jews and the Mexicans can agree on. Coffee. Having a nice cup of coffee. And family. Family being very important in both cultures. Should he have darker hair? Because Petra has lighter hair. But it's not like... She is older, but she's only like in her 40s, so she's not that old, actually. my god, yes. Baby boy. While we're on the subject, that's probably gonna get me canceled. The, it would be a force of nature for them, for, like, having either a Mexican mother and a Jewish, mother-in-law, and vice versa, or having a Jewish mom and a Mexican mother-in-law, because when it comes time to say grace and cook food and whatnot, there's gonna be glares from across the table, because someone's gonna pray to Santa Maria, and someone else is gonna say, why are you praying to her, she's dead. And I know. Hey, I hear you. Not all Mexicans are Catholic, and not all Jews are religious, but at the same time, it is part of our culture. Okay? Our meaning Jews. I'm not Mexican at all. I have no Latina blood in me. Not even Spaniard. I mean, my older sister does, but she has a different dad. So she's got, like, she's not Spanish, but, like, she's got, like, a drop of Portuguese in there somewhere. I don't know where that came from, but I have absolutely no Latina anything in me. A lot of my friends were Mexican growing up, but that's neither here nor there. What am I, Mr. Hippo? Jeez. Alright, I'm not gonna say they're related or the same or anyway. I'm just gonna look at... where's Dahlia? There she is. I'm gonna look at how I colored her eyes. And, okay. I didn't bother with the black ring because her eyes were already dark. Made them dark, but her hair is more of a reddish black. See, this is the character I was talking about earlier. Dahlia. She's Japanese, even though I didn't really draw her eyes, as Asian as I did Miss Lolita. But that's because Dahlia is not from Japan, but she has Japanese blood in her. And her kids are Blasian, which is the term that you use, and I think it's the cutest term ever, so I'm gonna use it. See, their eyes are tribal, so they've got more color and lighting, and since there's kind of... I don't want to say magic, but there's more... I'm gonna say magic. More magic in Shia tribe blood, so their eyes are weird colors. Not weird as in, like, we got characters with purple eyes, but we have characters in the Shia tribe that have orange and red eyes. Like Alder over here. You can say, oh, they're just red-brown. No, some characters in the tribe, like, Strelka and her brother, her twin brother, they have orange eyes. And Colby, Hurricane's father, also has orange eyes, while his brother has blue. It's just the way, I colored it first, because I thought it looked cool. Oh, is that too dark? What if I do the light bit? Okay. It's not black, but it's damn close to it. It's damn near it. Let's give it a little bit of texture. It's not drastic, but it's colored enough. I don't know if we meet Lolita personally. I think we do. I think we do. Like, at gang meetings and whatnot. Or like, heaven forbid you meet your teacher in the soup. You know, that's what's gonna happen. Some characters are at the mall or something. They go, ooh, crap. It's like, what? It's like, it's my teacher. It's like, what? You don't like her? No, it's just awkward seeing a teacher in a store. Because then, heaven forbid you make eye contact and she's walking over right now. Oh, God. And then you and your parents will start talking, and then school supplies are coming. Oh, no. How are you enjoying your summer? Oh, I'm enjoying it a lot. Mm-hmm. There we go. I said I was going to make the line art a little smaller, and then I forgot. But now I didn't. Alright, now her hair is just black, but it's cartoon black, so I'm not going to make it... What color palette should she have? Because he's more of a chocolate. So he's going to look like a chocolate. He's going to look like a Hershey bar. And the thing with colors... See, she's more blue but has green eyes. He has blue eyes but wears more green. I did that on purpose. Hang on, let me turn. The muscles got red and gray, red, and lighter, a brighter. This is muted red with a gray, a bright red with the gray and brown. She's got a beige and a blue, even though she's got brown and reddish skin. Because I based Petra, I didn't know what to do with her character, so I just gathered together a bunch of cat-themed mood boards and whatnot, and just rolled one of my D&D dice, and said, that one, alright, let's use this color palette. That's where I got the inspiration for a butterfly tattoo, and just her color palette. For Blake and his friends... this was based on their old designs. But he's got reds and whites. Very well dressed. Very well dressed. Alex is more green. Because the trend of putting a brown-haired Latino in a red hoodie is just everywhere. So I gave him green. Now, Phoebe was always in blue and pink with this outfit. This has always been her outfit. I just changed her hair. Instead of being, instead of having like Rosie the Riveter hair, which is, all tied up and whatnot. I gave it that. Now, Blake's colors I altered a little bit so that his coloring and values and whatnot would be the opposite of his dad. Like, short sleeve, long sleeve. Tucked in shirt, out shirt, light, dark pants, light pants that dragged on the floor, form-fitting, his shoes are the opposite, the collar, and the hair goes different directions as well. But I keep forgetting that they're the same height, because just David is so freaking short, and Blake hasn't stopped growing yet. So anyway, when it comes to colors, they're blue and green. Should Nikolai also be blue? Show that he's with his sister? Or should he be more, because she's more action, but wears blue. And he's more calm, but should wear red to contrast each other. I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Nicola's gonna have red clothes. Maybe more orangey red to match his eyes a little bit. So I'm gonna put that there, just to remind me. And he's gonna be more of a man of action. The boy's in blue, but he's not about that blue life, so he might be more green. he might have some green in there. So that means by default, she would be more blue or purple. I'm going purple. Not quite the saturated purple, but that's just to remind me later of what their clothes look like. So her black hair should be kind of a grayish, maybe purpley black, or maybe a blue black, because, you know, cartoons. Oh, I'm gonna make it darker than that, don't worry. Just gonna color it in. Because that's the beauty with character design. I mean, you don't have to be an expert, just as long as you understand colors and how, what people perceive them as. You don't actually have to follow, as long as you know, like, people perceive red as an aggressive, active, like, action color. So, if you know what people perceive it as, you can turn it on its head and make fun of people, you know, make fun of their perceptions. But you do also have to be mindful, if you do that too much, you'll lose some people. All right, let's make that darker. No, let's just saturate. There we go. Shit. All right, let me fix it. I think I did that with every character here accidentally. Like, Hurricane, the main character, her eyes are blue, and some of the clothes she wears, you know, are more blue. They're more blue and gray tones, even though she is very active. Her brother is more green, so he, you know, he's got green eyes to match his mom. God, Lolita looks so pretty. Now, Luca has hazel eyes, which I'm so happy on how his hazel eyes turned out. And a lot of other, like Dave, Spencer has brown eyes. She has green because genetics. Excuse me, I think Sasha's Romanian. I decided, yeah, she's Romanian. So she said, she has the green eyes because pretty. But what should David O'Malley have? What's his eye color? I mean, I could make him hazel again to like match his green, so that his eyes, you know, the orange matches his orangey reds. Now her eyes are just dark, so, but I made her hair more of a blue-black, so her colors would be more blue. But hang on, let's see all the references. Okay, we got David is blue, Spencer is orange, Alex green, Medic is green. There are absolutely no blondes in this. He's gonna be the token blonde. I'm sorry. Because I don't color blondes all that much. Probably because I don't understand how blonde hair works. It's like, it's yellow, but it's not. But it's not white. I'm just gonna color this in, and then I'll figure it out later. Because I have a few characters in other stories that are blonde, but due to story reasons, I made him more of like a golden yellow, like Barbie hair blonde. And he's got also emerald green eyes. I know, just like... Yeah, he's like, what is Marty? Is he? I think. I mean, actually, I changed it to where he's more of a dirty blonde, but with just emerald green eyes. Not like actual real world green eyes, where like people with green eyes are like that color, which is just blah, 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 blah. But like blonde can also be like kind of almost grayish. But I don't know. He's not Fred Jones, because Fred Jones is blue with a bit of orange, and he's yellow hair, you know, like here. But he is blonde, because he's not the only white dude, but he's the only blonde in the gang so far. There are other members, but we don't really talk to them. At least I don't have any ideas for talking to them in the story. And I feel like... But here, let's think about colors for a second. He is like Daniel O'Malley of the recruiters. He is the recruiter in charge of Blake and his friends. So that he kind of brought them in, or at least is in charge of teaching them, because he becomes a mentor to a character, Alara. And Alara learns from him, you know, how to deal with parental expectations from adults. And he's just more friendly, but she learns that from him. But she also learns a lot from Dr. Bareth, or Sasha, due to story reasons. I need to color the book. Remind me I need to color the book before I render everything. And fix her lip area. You know what? Let me just do that now. So I'm wondering if they should represent something color-wise. Because Alara's colors are gray with an undertone of blue. Gray and silver, I should say. And then she's green with blue clothes, which, you know, with grayish, which works because she finds comfort in his green eye, in her green eyes, for a reason, for reasons. But she also, you know, has to hang out a lot. Which, I mean, she doesn't have to hang out with Daniel, but he's kind of like in charge of her group, of the group that she's in. I kind of like this yellow, though. I'm not sure if this is how actual blonde hair looks. But at a distance, I kind of like the color. I still don't know what to do with the eyes, so I don't want to give him blue eyes, because I have a lot of characters with blue eyes here. But, you know, I think Hazel is more common, but I only have like 3 characters with hazel eyes that I remember off the top of my head. So, like, should I make him another Hazel? Because then he and Luca are friends, but I don't want to give him like the same hazel eyes. But I do want him to be different in a way, but I want him to be different, but familiar to Alara, so she feels like she can trust him. Or maybe he's completely different from what she's used to, and that's why she eventually learns to trust him. Because then but she also finds not quite a kindred spirit, but she learns to be more of herself through him. She refines herself by being around, and Blake and his friend, Blake and the others, and Daniel. So I'm wondering, color-wise, what that would mean. Like, if I want to make a connection to her past through story, to where she would see him as a bit of like what she could be. But I'm not sure about that, which, this is perfect time. We're about 2 hours in, I think. I am going to take a quick bathroom break. So I will be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. And I'm back. Alright. Miss me? My hair is so staticky. I don't know, I'm thankful that I have, a part of me wishes I had thicker, fuller hair. But I am quite thankful that I have the fine, thin hair that I do, because if I didn't, I don't know how I would survive winter. I'll come back to his, actually. So I'm gonna color them. The temptation to put him in like a bright ass Christmas sweater is strong. I think every artist should live stream. I mean, you don't have to become a streamer, but if you're like working on a story, character design, animation, writing, whatever, I think you should. Every artist should stream at least some of it, or at the very least record when they're working on something with a mic so they can talk out loud to the void or to their stuffed animals on their desk. Because I don't know a single artist who doesn't have some sort of figurine or a stuffed animal on their desk. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 on my desk right now. All handmade by my sister, Talia Dangerbuff. Love you. But just like having these recordings so I can listen back to it later. And I should give him like a not beige pants because ew, but like khakis or something. Just so you know, you can listen back to it later and say, "Oh, I said this. This is a good idea," or "I said this as a reminder, but actually that's not what I meant, so maybe make a note on that." Just so... Because, like, I've made some creative decisions and then didn't, like, leave a note for myself. Because then I came back to that... I came back to it and I thought, what was this? There was a plan here. But what was it? Because I was, like, going through some future characters that are gonna pop up in the Path to Brighter Stars, and I had a character that was gonna be like an old man, like an old cat character named Cricket, and that's a cute idea, but at the same time I'm sitting like, what was the plan? Because I normally write down characters for a comic if I have a plan for them or if they're like going to mean something. Like just having a background character with no meaning, I mean, that's fun, but for a comic, especially a character with a name and a very specific design, I can't remember for the life of me what my plan for that character was. So, oh, his hair, his beard. You know what, let me just unclip, turn that on. Excuse me. Sparkle Stipple. And then I'll just texture it later. Turn down the saturation on that. There we go. And then up the opacity down, maybe down the line spacing just so I can add a bit of texture. Even though I know facial hair is not in lines, it's in curls. But, you know, texture is everything. There we go. Oh, it's thinner across. Okay. There we go. And then I'll just fill it in. Fill it back in on the hair. There we go. That's much more better. I've never actually seen that, where that quote is from. Is it like... It's just my English teacher. One of my high school English teachers used to say it a lot. Because she was quoting that movie or show or whatever. And I don't know what it was from. Or what the context was. So if anyone knows, let me know. And if it's bad, I apologize. Yes! But, y'all, I've gotten into, like, blushing with some orange. Not just in makeup, but, like, in characters. And it's just, it's doing something for me. Not that bright. He's not Jessica. Let me blur. And multiply. It adds a bit of life to their cheeks and face and skin, and I don't know what it is, why the orange works more than like the red or the pink. I still use both, but like a touch of orange just, I don't know, it does something. What are we thinking? I don't know if anyone would get this reference, but I just had, like, yesterday, I don't know where this epiphany came from, but I had the idea to take the script from the Star Trek episode Trouble with Tribbles, especially when Kirk is asking who started the fight, you know, the bar fight with the Klingons, and take that scene but put it with the 501st from Star Wars, from the Clone Wars, and that scene has just it's got me in a chokehold. And I really want to do it now, but I'm like, who... Like, I kind of know who the characters would be, but here's the thing. In that scene that I'm thinking of, Kirk is going down the line and asking his men, who started the fight? And at first, he thinks it's Chekhov, because Chekhov's a little punk. It's like, Chekhov, you started the fight. It's like, no, sir, I didn't. It's like, no? I'm thinking Chekhov is Fives in this situation, and Anakin is Kirk. He's going the line, asking who started the fight. Fives is Chekhov, that's for sure. And maybe a few other characters he asked would be like Hard Case, or Jesse, or something like that. Or Kix, even. Kix. People say Kix is like the soft boy medic, but no, he's not. Kix will kick ass. That's why he's called Kix. But I'm just wondering about that. And Rex is Scotty in this situation. Because then Kirk, or Anakin, would order everyone out of the room and is talking to Mr. Scott. Because Mr. Scott is the senior officer that was part of the fight, and Rex would be the leader. And he's like, who started the fight? And Scott said, I did, sir. So I was like, Rex started the fight. Why? But in the original script, the fight started because the Klingon came over and was talking shit about Kirk, about the Federation, and Chekhov was getting mad, but Stein was like, "Oh, we're big enough to take a few insults, sir." It was like, then why did you start the fight? It's like, he called the Enterprise a garbage stow, sir. It's like, and then Kirk's just, so you hit the Klingon when he insulted the Enterprise, but not your... That will be all, Mr. Scott. So I'm wondering, for this situation, okay, my rambling's over. For this situation, with the 501st, Rex started the fight, but why? And, like, who was the fight with? Like, they can insult Anakin. They can insult the Republic, insult the Anakin, maybe say something about the Jedi Order. But he says something, and Rex is just, laddie, do you think you might want to rephrase that? And maybe not in the Scottish accent, but... But who would the other people be that started the fight that, would not have such great relations with the Republic? And what would they say that would make Rex start a fight that wasn't, like, an insult to Anakin? Because we're big enough to take a few insults. But here's the thing, if you, like, said anything about Ahsoka or whatnot, then, then it'd be like, oh, duh, that's why he started the fight. But it's got to be something that is solely important to Rex to make this scene work. But I'm not sure what that would be. I'm gonna have to ask my sister for help in this situation. And I don't know what I would do with it, but once I figured it out, I might just draw a comic. Which, would be fun. I should do it for Fandom Friday. Which, I have an idea for this Fandom Friday. I actually have an idea this Friday. Other than games. But I kind of don't want to do it. Because it would take a lot of switching references and just screaming at myself, trying to figure out how to draw it all together and whatnot. But I've had this idea in my head. And my sister and I worked on this extensively. And I want to get it out there in some way. So I'm figuring I might stream it. I like this lavender color. So I think I'll go with that. Because lavender is very soothing. So I think... Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to ask my sister about that if she's still listening. You listening, Talia? Or no, it just has... I know she has my stream in the background, but I don't know if she's got me muted and listening to... actually watching... Gab. I don't know what her YouTube channel is, but... I hate to say it like this. Jacksepticeye's girlfriend. I hate to say it like that, but that's how, like... Oh, who's she? Well, she's a YouTuber that does this, and that. Oh. She's Jacksepticeye's girlfriend. Oh, okay. So, I hate to say it like that. Because she is a reputable streamer by herself. She plays a lot of games that, I would probably play. Yeah, okay, Tab. Did you hear that whole bit I was talking about with the Star Trek scene with the Trouble with Tribbles and the 501st? Did you hear all that? Crickets. Anyway, well, I'm gonna ask her about it later. About maybe getting the whole thing together. This and maybe her shoes. Why am I in the G pen? I think her stream is a little laggy. Let me change. Yeah, no, that's fine. Here. Heard some of it. Well, I'll talk to you about it later. you know, in full, because I want your input on it. Because you're more of a fan of the 501st than I am. I'm a 104th girl myself. And Clone Force 99, but you know, that's who isn't at this point. Who isn't a Bad Batch fan? Like, if, well, okay, I know who isn't, but you know what I mean. Do you, though? Actually, you know, I can just make these all the same color. No, I'm gonna make the souls darker. Darker, like my soul. There we go. Oh my god, she's so cute. I get into this weird thing where if I'm like, okay, I'm drawing the main characters, I'm not, and I don't like how they look. I'm just, oh, whatever. I'll work on some background characters, and then I work on them and draw them, and oh my god, why is she so cute? She's a background character. She's not even gonna. She doesn't even formally appear in the main story. And same with you, Nicola. Why are you two so fucking cute? And you two should date. But then, like, the main character, I'm working on the, like, actual focus characters, and it's not working. That's why there's more pressure on myself to actually draw them and make them look appealing to where it's not working. But then when I try and draw just a background character with no expectations and whatnot, it's fine. Actually, I'm going to make these more of a pink. And lighter. There we go. I'm just gonna now go in and color in between the pixels of the line art. Because I can't be stopped. God help any colorer that I eventually bring on to any project, or, you know, assistant colorer or whatever, you know, to whatever project I'm working on, because I always do my line art with the G pen. Because I like the way the texture looks, and I mean, sure, it's hard to tell here, but I like it more than just the smooth G pen, because you see, well, here it looks the same, because I'm not anti-analog, well, whatever. Fleshy, fleshy. There we go. Also, when it comes to character design, I'm starting to think that you should just design, like, just get a base design for a character, like, just blah. Without any real thinking about who they're going to be. Like, maybe, like, pick if you have multiple series or multiple projects, pick a project, design a character, just bleh. Brain barf ideas, and then see what works well together, and then just, like, let it flow. Let it flow, let it go. And just see what happens. And then then you'll like get an epiphany, or at least this is the way my brain works. You'll get an epiphany on what the character can be and should be. And then things will just kind of like accidentally fall into place. And now that I'm done stalling with those two, I'm gonna work on you. I'm just gonna work on his blushing. Because it's pretty simple all the way across. Might give him a little bit of a sunburn. That might be cute. Because, like, with this character, Daniel, I originally started designing him with the sole goal of him being Luca's best friend. That was it. And then just while casually drawing things, changing things, and then just letting things progress naturally, then that's when he became the son of the police chief, recruiter, mentor to future character, actually important to the story, also happened to be best friend of Luca. That just happened. Because when you're a character designer or a creative type, you find that you don't have to force anything. It comes naturally. Sure, there are some times where you have to actually force yourself to sit down and think about the project and whatnot. That's why am I in G-Pen again? Because that's just how work works. You have to actually sit down and do the work. But when it comes to like stories and whatnot, stories is the one thing that makes us human. The way we tell stories, the way we crave stories and entertainment. Stories and cooking are what make us human. Everything else is just part of being alive. Like, war. People say war is a uniquely human thing. No, it's not. Have you seen ants? And lions and what wolves will do to each other and whatnot. Or they say, oh, racism is a human thing. No, birds will often attack other birds that have brighter colors or look different from the rest of the group because they're different and thus a perceived threat. So racism is not a uniquely human thing, but it's like, some people may say, well, fashion, the way we look, cosmetics might be more human. Well, actually, no. Some animals will purposefully roll in certain herbs or muds or certain things because they like the way they smell. So they're basically putting on cologne. And sure, they're rolling in like a dead body or whatever, but they're putting on cologne. They're thinking about their appearance. Birds preen, not just because their feathers are important to them, but if their feathers look healthy, then they're more likely to get a mate. I think I just might keep the green shirt, if I'm being honest, or I might a little less yellow and maybe... That's much better. Holy shit, it's Luke Skywalker. I just realized. Oh my god, I just drew Luke Skywalker. With the greens. What color eyes does Mark Hamill have? Anyway. What was I talking? Oh yeah, nature. Okay, so it's not war, it's not racism, it's not fashion, it's not cosmetics and whatnot, because animals care about that too. The only thing that humans do that animals don't is cook and tell stories. Now, other animals do prepare food, harvest and farm, and cultivate crops. So that's not uniquely human. I mean, ants do that with, the different fungi and whatnot. But, like, cooking, mixing foods, and preparing spices, and especially over a fire, that's a uniquely human thing. But most of all, stories. Stories are what make us human. So stories come to us naturally. That's what dreams are. Dreams are just stories that our brain has made up based on just what we went through that day. That day or the few other days. I'm going to add some accents because these are more like athletic shorts. And they always get a line of something somewhere. So yeah. What was I getting at? Okay, I was getting at you don't have to force storytelling. It comes naturally. So if you're worried about like what a character looks like and what and how your work is done to be, it comes naturally. But the way we each of us do it separately is what makes our stories unique. Because our stories come from our imagination. I think that's a bit much. And let's just have it on the sides. There. So don't try to force the way a character looks or the way a story progresses. Because it comes to you naturally. It is a base human thing to tell stories, to find patterns, to look for similarities and compartmentalize things. But that doesn't mean you don't, like, just not do the work. What eye color? I like this green outfit. It looks nice. Not quite the opposite of blue, but it is adjacent to it. Let me write down his name. So like, oh my god, go away. Go away. Sorry. I got a pop-up from antivirus softwares. Can there just be an antivirus software that you just buy once and it works and there's no pop-ups and it just runs silently in the background and you honestly forget about it? Instead of having annual subscription bullshit and it constantly popping up, we blocked the virus. Great! I don't care! Anyway. I think my main point in all of this creative rambles, if you have a story you want to tell, don't force it. Like, don't force the story to become something. I think I might just give him gray eyes. Because it will. It will become something. But if you want the story to be uniquely yours, look at what other people are doing. I know, weird thing. Look at what other people are doing and what has been done. And think about what you want to see. Write the story you want to read. Because you're gonna have to do it 75 million times. Which is why, with these stories, I'm trying not to... I want it to be something. I want it to be something. But it already is something. A story is always something. It doesn't have to be something good, necessarily. Like, the Twilight movies. They're something, alright, but... There's nothing quite like the Twilight series. Then it's just... Stories are what makes us human. So if you're worried about telling, like, oh, the story's already been told, but you haven't told it, so it's still different. And even if it is similar or reminiscent of something else that people like, people are gonna like it. Why? Because we love stories. That's the point of my rant. We as humans and as humanity as a whole, we love stories. We crave stories. We seek it out. We want meaning in our meaningless rambles. So don't worry about your story too much. Still think about it. Make smart, creative decisions and whatnot. Like, you don't want to... You don't want to plagiarize, for sure. But you don't want to tell a story that doesn't properly reflect you. Or what you feel and what you think and see. Because that's how we tell stories. It's a reflection of how we think, feel, and perceive the world. Because the stories that we tell are a warping of our perception. In a way. So be mindful, but don't be too stressed out about it. There's enough things in our lives that we gotta stress out over for whatever ungodly reason. To be stressed out about some silly comic about magical people living in the woods that believe in spirits and use weapons and were based on cats. And that's really the point of everything that I do. I'm just telling stories that I wanna see. That I like the idea of. And if other people like them too, great. We're gonna have one hell of a ride together. And they are finally done! Oh my god. How many streams did this take? And all the hours I did off stream? God, my throat hurts, and it's almost 3 o'clock, and I haven't even started on the other shit. Well, I shall do that later. I was gonna start doing some character dynamic sketch dumps, Like, here was one sketch I had started to get ready, but, man, with the way time is gone today, and the way my voice is hurting, I might, here's the thing I also like to do when I'm working on character references. You can try this too. Work on it, like, do the sketch, and then let it rest. Go do something else, and then come back to it later. It can be, like, 20 minutes to a day. Just leave it and come back. And then line art and color, base color. And then step back, look at it, come back to it later. 20 minutes to a day, look at it. And if you still like it after doing all of that, then you save. I mean, you still save, but, like, then you, like, render it. I'm gonna turn the opacity down on that. Okay, that's that. But what is this? Oh, this can just be the white or gray. There we go. Because that's been finished for a while, but that's gonna need a trim. This is done. These are done. This is done. And I finished this the other day. But I'm not sure if they're going to have code names or not. But I know these guys are done. Whoops. Actually, hold up. They're not done. I need to... I'll put on hair. I need to color his scar. I need to color Barbarino's scar. And it's an old one, so it's white. But it hasn't affected his sight at all. I don't know what the scar is from, but it's just meant to make him look grizzled. The old grizzle. I don't know. But I know Luca shaved a bit of his eyebrow so he could match his dad. But he did his, like, I did it to match you, Dad, and he was like, I did this to match my dad, and meanwhile his dad is like, this boy is mocking me, I know it. But you don't know. Parents, if there are any parents watching this stream now or later, always remember, you do not know your children as well as you think you do. And that goes with everything and everyone. You do not know as much as about anything as you think you do. The sooner you realize that, the sooner everyone will just get along, because mind your damn business. I'm going to save their ref. You know, I'm just going to save straight across. And then I'm going to render, put them up on Toy House. I'm going to end stream here. And but immediately after, I'm going to be rendering and working on their Toy House references. Because that's where I put all their stories and character stuff and whatnot. So if you want to check it out, I will be... Any of the links in the description. The Steomorph Designs one, I will be updating their pages. So, that's where I'll be. Thank you all so much for watching. I don't have intros set aside. I don't have intros. I don't have outros. I'm a terrible YouTuber. Yes, I know. But that is neither here nor there. So, okay. I totally went blank on what I was going to say. Okay, yeah. This Monday, I finished the references. So this project is done. For future Mondays, I think it's going to be either YouTube stuff, where if I'm working on a new PNG tuber for a different project. I'll be working on that on Mondays or off stream. But I think on my schedule, I have Mondays set up to be Dreamwalker stuff for drawing and whatnot. But with the references done, it might just be sketching props and maps from here on out. For Mondays. But Wednesdays is still going to be the Path to Brighter Stars, which, like I said earlier, I'm not going to worry about spoilers anymore. I'm just going to work on the pages. But I am going to try and avoid sketching streams because those are boring to me. And they take forever. And, I want to talk instead of focusing on redrawing the same character 3 times. So it'll be line art and coloring and rendering, like last week's, which was really good. Fridays, and on my schedule I said was going to be gaming most Fridays, or some Fridays, but I think I'll just change Friday to Fandom Friday, where I'm just drawing fan art, working on fan characters, and maybe gaming every once in a while, because I don't play games that much. And when I do, it's just to, it's like I have games on my phone, which are like just connect dots and whatnot. And Pokemon Go, because I'm a total nerd. But I digress. I'm not a gaming channel, and I don't plan to become a gaming channel, but that FNAF stream was just for fun. And just for me to yell. But really, I don't need to play Five Nights at Freddy's to yell. And I realized, I'm a lifelong fan of Star Wars, if you can't already tell. Hello, phone. Excuse me. So I think Fridays will be my opportunity to just talk about Star Wars, because all conversations lead to Star Wars for me. And if you check my fan dumping ground toy house, you'll see I have a lot of fan characters that are just kind of sitting there, and I do have another comic project that I was gonna work on just for fun and whatnot. So that's what Friday is going to be. I'm not going to re-render the whole schedule banner to say games, to instead of saying gaming to be Fandom Friday and whatnot. I'm not going to bother with that. It'll just say in the on the titles and thumbnails, Fandom Friday, and it'll just be me spinning a wheel. That's what it's going to be. So that's what the new schedule is going to be. The new dealio. So my voice hurts. I'm going to go take care of what that was on my phone. Thanks for coming. I don't know how to end streams. You know that by now.